Good evening, everybody. Oh my goodness, my voice is actually matched up with the picture. I've been scrambling to try to get this thing fixed, and I didn't think I had. Good evening. It is Tuesday, November the something or other. No, February the 4th. And tonight we're doing the competition because my guest judge disappeared. Had to go off on business, and this is the way we're going to do it. But it's going to be fun. It was a good competition. A lot of surprises, and yeah, I think you're going to like it. Some great pictures, really great pictures. Thursday, we are going to do a hour of talking about resolution, and I'm going to give you some really cool ideas for a way to up your resolution game. It's going to be kind of technical, kind of advanced, but I think a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. Saturday, after stack. Not exactly sure what Bud wants to do, but I think we're just going to do images. So if anybody has an image that's causing them problems, they want some help with, bring it, or actually better yet, send it to me or send it to Bud, and we will get it in the show on Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning. The invitation is on my website at the blog page. Go to AWPhotography/blog/resolution. That's the name of it. That's where you'll find it. I interviewed Zamir Pena the other evening and just finished editing the review of the AK diffuser. And I edited it today. It should be up on YouTube in the morning. I haven't had a chance to post it yet, but that will be the next thing up. And yeah, two awesome books. Thank you, Susan, so much for sending me these. We're doing some work with a Pi camera, a Raspberry Pi camera, and I've been learning all about it. So thank you, Susan. That's very kind of you. These are fantastic books. Very, very readable. Okay, so we have no time to spare tonight because there are 37 photographs that I want to talk about, and we're going to go through each and every one of them. There were 5 disqualifications. Can you believe it? 5 disqualifications. Why do you think they were disqualified? Well, they sent me pictures of snowflakes, and that just wasn't close enough to count as mechanisms. There were several pictures that actually didn't count as mechanisms, but I gave a lot of wiggle room on this one. Snowflakes was outside the wiggle room. So those 5 pictures are gone. Leaves us with 36 that we need to go through. And yeah, time is clicking by already. So I'm going to what I've done is this. I'll tell you what I've done first, then we'll start looking at them. There are 10 places, 10 through 1. We have one of all of them. There are no ties. There were, looks like about 10 honorable mentions. And then there were about 10, maybe 8 kind of honorable mentions, but not quite as honorable. And that covers all the pictures. I don't want to single anybody out, but I do want to show all the pictures because they all have something interesting to look at. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to just put the pictures up here, and let's see if I can get them to open first. These are not in any order. This first batch of honorable mentions are not in any order. The honorable mentions are not in any specific order, but the places are. So when we get to number 10 and up, they are in order. So let me switch my screens here if I can get this to move over. I've had a terrible, just a terrible day with the computer. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just I've been so busy with editing and things. I left some stuff undone. I cannot get this to move over. All right, that's a problem. Let me try that again. Oh, dearie me. Now my pictures have disappeared. Hang on, let me see if I can find them. This is driving me nuts today. What do you do when you're the window you're trying to open is stuck halfway between 2 screens? honestly, I've never seen that before. Let me try something else. Oh, dearie me. Hang on just a moment here, guys. This is something I have never seen before. Let me try, yeah, anybody know when you've moved something halfway from one computer to another and it's disappeared, how you even find it? Hang on. Just bear with me. All right, I'll try quitting it there and starting it up somewhere else. Here we go. All right, so the first image we're going to look at, no, apparently we're not going to look at it. All right. This is the bizarrest thing I've ever seen. I cannot open this. Cannot open this picture. Let me try something else. Bear with me. This has been what it's been like all day long with editing and everything else. Okay, I'm going to try something else here. All right, then I'm going to switch screens. You want to see the snowflakes? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share the other screen. That's what I'll do. So, oh, I can't actually do that. Finally. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. That was about as unprofessional as it gets in this business. This is one of the honorable mentions, the second batch of honorable mentions, and it is from Roy Walker. And if you turn, oh well, I'll turn if you turn. That's the name of the picture. It's very nice. It's clearly a mechanism. It's a very nice picture. There's just something about it that's a little distracting. Maybe it's not the right word. The color's good. The textures are good. It's just a little flat, uninteresting, really, in a way. And there's something about the symmetry of it that's not appealing. It's absolutely not a bad photograph. None of them are in this, but it was just not enough about it to raise it to the level of interest that the other ones had. So let me see if I can find our next one. This is from, yeah, it's from. Let me see if I can get it to come over. Oh my goodness, this is going to just be going on all night, I'm afraid. There we go. All right. This is the, what is it? The cranky something or other. It's from Miss Vactor. And the name of the picture, if I can spread it out here, it's Oxidation. Ode to Oxidation. Now, this is a clever picture. It's clearly a mechanism of some kind, shows a gear, and I love the texture. What I don't like is the I guess it's sharpening or some other post-processing that was done that has created a very grainy appearance and a very sharp-edged, unnatural look to it. I don't know what this artifact is, but it was enough to distract me quite a lot. So you know that's why this one stayed where it was here. And the next one is from Mr. Steiner. This is called Frozen Time, and it'll be over there in a minute, I hope. There we go. Frozen Time. There were a lot of watch pictures in this competition, and let me say a quick word about that. When you submit something as cliche as a watch picture in a mechanism competition, it has got to be flawless, and it's got to be special, and it's got to be different. This one didn't make it into the final group mainly because a combination of the lighting was a little on the dim side. There was lots of detail. That was nice. I didn't like the way half the dial was falling into shadow. It looked a little unbalanced. But it also really didn't show the mechanism. When we're talking about mechanism, you know, I'm really wanting to see the moving parts. Sure, the hands are moving parts and everything, so I guess it could get through in that way. But it didn't have the kind of magical punch that some of the other pictures did that got them in the top 10. It is a nice image. It had a lot of promise. I think it could have used with a little bit of tweaking on the lighting. All right, Pierre Seurat is in the next position with what I thought was an interesting mechanism and a decent photograph of it. This looks to me like a disc reader from a computer. The problem is, as you may be able to see in your image, the picture's out of focus. The subject of interest, the reader, is sitting on the disc and it's kind of out of focus. And that is a technical issue that is, yeah, it's going to be hard to get a high slot in this competition if you have anything out of focus. So that was problematic. Otherwise, very interesting idea, very good picture. The next image that also had a focus issue of a different type. This was from Mr. Salarchik. I do hope I didn't just butcher the name. Of course, you won't be able to see the picture because I can't get it over there. There we go. This is, yeah, from Mr. Salarchik, and it is a mechanism, no doubt, much closer to what I was looking for in terms of the theme. The problem here is, what is the subject? What are you trying to draw my attention to? I have to believe it's this gear, but this gear is not all the way in focus, and it leads me to kind of feel like I'm not unclear as to what you want me to look at, and there's a lot of distraction around it. It's not a bad photograph, but I think composition here is the problem, and maybe taking the depth of field a little deeper to make, if this is the star of our show, then there are several things you could have done compositionally to make it more prominent, or make it a little bit less confusing as to what we're looking at. But all in all, again, nice picture, just not quite what we're looking for. Next is from Nick Parker. I'd seen this picture before, and that didn't have any effect on the judging of it. I know what Nick's concerns were about the picture. Mine were basically the picture lacks a lot of punch because of the kind of monochrome and darkness of it. The fact that the printing on the motor at the top is upside down kind of detracts from the overall image. Most of it is in focus. You've heard me say this before. When you have an image where most of the structures are in focus, and then you have an area, kind of an interesting area of the mechanism that is not in focus, it's a bit confusing and disconcerting to the viewer. I'm not sure, again, what I'm supposed to be looking at in the image. I have a feeling it's this lead screw here. It's a good idea. It's a good concept. I think either isolating the gear a little better, or having the one of these areas of type not in the image could have made it more balanced. Again, not a bad picture. It had promise. Next is another motor. This one is from a new person to the competition, I believe, and I'm going to butcher this lady's name as well. It's Jort, yeah, It's something like that. This is a picture of a motor. I'm guessing some kind of a DC motor. The problem here is also one of a crowded frame, and compositionally, I think that an opportunity was missed by cutting out the bottom of the. I need to get that thing to move. Maybe you can't see that, but yeah, the the problem then is more in composition than anything else. The motor is slightly at an angle. It's been focus stacked, I believe, and there is a little bit of artifact between the stacks, but because of the way the rotor is positioned, it looks really unbalanced with bigger gaps and smaller gaps depending on what is in the background. It again, it had a lot of promise. I think it could have been a really nice picture, but I would have tried to get the whole mechanism into the picture and try to get it a little bit more balanced. And I think everything would have looked a little bit more appealing if there was a bit more room for the motor to spread out in the frame. You're going to see, I'm going to show some pictures that clearly are not filling the frame with the mechanism, but they had something else that just made it pop. So we've got 3 more in this category. This one is from Bill Bromer, and it is it's going to be the whole clock mechanism thing again. When you're doing a clock in a mechanism competition, you have got to be careful for things like artifact, and there is a fair amount of artifact in this. That doesn't mean you can't have some artifact in a photograph. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but this is in a very prominent position. You can see a lot of softening behind these wires. You've got some foreground transparency in several places, which may or may not have been retouchable, but I would have liked it where you have these bright areas that are kind of off to the side and clearly not the area of real focus, which is right here. This is where I think the light needed to be accented. This is what we needed to see bright and clear, and so it's a little bit jumbled, and the artifact makes it a little bit distracting. Otherwise, again, a great idea and a great piece of machinery. Certainly, when it comes to the competition and the theme, you nailed it here. This is absolutely the right thing. So we got one more here that is in this category of honorable mentions or dishonorable mentions. This is from Julie Botts. This is the robot motor. And by the way, I'm gonna talk about the well. I wrote it down in my blog post. We are going to have to improve our naming of our photographs. I put the instructions in the blog post. If you'd be kind enough to go read that, so that I'm not picking on you, Julie, here at all. But the name of the file and the title of your picture need to be the same, so that I can keep them straight, and my guest judge can keep them straight. This picture is interesting, and it has Julie's touch on it with the different colored lights playing in with it. It's too messy and unclear as to what I'm looking at, other than a couple of gears and a mechanism. I guess this is grease or some kind of lubricant on the teeth. It's not telling me a story. I don't know why the gears are colored. I don't know why they're covered in grease or whatever this is. So I feel like I'm missing something here, and the picture also looks a little out of balance. Yeah, maybe it could do with a little more perspective by backing off or coming up with another way to tell the story. It just wasn't a super satisfying picture to look at. But there's another one that would gets a similar kind of response from me. It's a mechanism. It looks to me like it's some kind of an electrical relay, and it's a reasonably nice picture, but I think the exposure is off a little bit, and the composition. It's complicated and a little confusing, and I may not even be right about it being a relay, but the I think the color and the exposure together are hiding a lot of the potentially interesting detail. I'm guessing that this is the inside of a large component that's had the cap taken off of it to show the interior. And again, it's technically clean. Your focus is good. The lighting could, I believe, have helped bring this to life a little bit more, as could some color management. I'm guessing these are copper. They have a distinctly dull look to them. Okay, all right. So now we're on to the honorable mentions. And if you have crossed eyes, I think you'll be able to appreciate this one. I was going to try to get this picture from Bill Wheeler switched the other way around so that people with glasses could see it. But yeah, this is a stereo image of a zipper, I'm guessing. A couple of problems with it. It's a good picture in stereo when you can fix it up with your eyes. It's pretty it's pretty deep in terms of the structure. You can see exactly what's going on with the end of the zipper and the thread holding the teeth in place and so on. So lots of detail, lots to be learned from it. It's a bit dark for me to appreciate all of the details, and it took me a while to figure out what it was. There's not a lot of context to know that this is the actual bit of the zipper you pull. It was just a bit confusing. It's something I would say, and I'm not saying this to Bill, I'm saying this to anybody who submits a stereo pair for a competition. It would be enormously helpful if you could submit it as a triptych. 3 images, so that the 2 on the right are cross-eyed, the 2 on the left are for glasses. It would just make it a lot easier to present them and talk about them. This is not a bad picture, and certainly worthy of an honorable mention. Though I feel like with a bit more context, it could have done better. All right. Diane Vactor also had this image. Now this is a lovely image, and you can't see it because I can't move it over. It's still not coming over. Hang on, I'm going to try that again. There's got to be a better way to do this. There we go. All right. So this is My Therapist Told Me to Embrace My Inner Pipe, which is a fantastic title for what looks like an automobile lubrication hose or something like that. I love it. I'm not sure it's a mechanism, which is really part of the problem. However, this ended up with an honorable mention because of the awesome color treatment. The way you've brought out the various colors of this heat-treated metal are fantastic. I love this picture. It's really nice. I particularly like the way you've balanced the colors in the image against the background. Very, very appealing. Very sharp. Focus is excellent. Just a little bit of a problem because of the mechanism thing. But yeah. This is definitely a mechanism. Coming up next, it's from our very own Robert Storost. And nope, it's not coming over after all. Hang on, let me try that again. This is a mechanism, or it was a mechanism at one point until Robert took a hammer to it. It looks like a clock, or bits of a clock. And this is clever. This is an intriguing idea and really quite well done. The image, as you would expect from Robert, is absolutely tack sharp. The subject is interesting. Must have taken a while to assemble it like that. And yeah, generally speaking, it was a very nice photograph, very interesting, and very engaging. I'm not sure that it wouldn't have benefited from a little bit more light. I feel like it's a bit dark down in here where there's some interesting nuts and bolts going on that wheel. Minor point, but you'll see that this is one of those photographs that would have ended up a little bit higher in the competition had it not been for the competition. And let's move on then to the next honorable mention. This was absolutely intriguing. This is also from Mr. Stolarczyk. Gosh, I really need to learn how to pronounce these names. I have no idea what this is. It's some kind of a gear with a looks like an escapement thing. Is it from a bicycle or a motorbike or something like that? It's intriguing. It's gorgeous to look at. These colors, which are kind of analogous, and they harmonize really well in an unusual way. I love it. I couldn't stop looking at it. I love the reflections of the different metals in each other, and yeah, it's intriguing and fun to look at. I still don't know what it is, but that doesn't really matter. It's unusual and refreshing to see, and clearly a mechanism, any way you'd look at it. So very nice job, sir. I enjoyed that one. Now, we're going to get into the watches, and the next one is from Hans-Peter Steiner. And I love this picture. I've never seen this kind of watch before. It's a completely foreign brand to me. And you're gonna see as we go through the rest of the rest of the entries that if you're going to show a clock or watch mechanism, it's got to be flawless. And in this particular case, I think that I was put off by the fact that for such an unusual timepiece, why have you cut so much of the edges off it? This is one that I really think should not have been trimmed, and certainly not to the extent that I actually can't tell if part of the bottom is missing. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, and unfortunately the end of the second hand appears to disappear off the side of the frame too. So this is compositionally, it's a beautiful and interesting watch. It's just a bit crowded, and this you're going to see, I think it's in the next picture or one after, very similar framing, but it has a whole different feel to it. I don't feel like it's cutting me out of anything that I need to see, whereas this one does. Beautifully shot, lovely focus, well stacked if it was stacked. Actually, I'm beginning to think it wasn't stacked. It was just a single shot. Yeah, it looks like it probably was. But very nice effort. I'm going to have to look this up and find out what a Roma watch is. I'd love to see the full timepiece. Okay, another honorable mention. This one, again, is incredibly clever and unique and well done. It's just got a couple of technical problems that kept it away from. Can't quite get it to move down. Anyway, it kept it away from the final grouping. Lovely idea to use a clock or watch mechanism and superimpose something as out of kilter as a flower with it. The problem here is the amount of artifact, the amount of transparency is off-putting, as is the amount of grummus on the instrument. I mean, this, whether you cleaned it beforehand with compressed air or you cleaned it afterwards in Photoshop, I feel like something needed to be done to clean it up and lessen some of the effect of the artifact. I don't know how you shot this, and there's some suggestion that this is probably some of it could have been avoided, I think, with the stacking technique and possibly also a little bit with lighting. But it's a good photograph, great idea. And you're going to see later on that Jesus Sanchez did actually manage to pull this off in another photograph, but I just spoiled the surprise, didn't I? Here is honorable mention from Nick Parker. This is Gearbox. And let me get it over there. Nope. Let me try that again. You got to appreciate how difficult this is to do, guys. I'm not having any luck getting these pictures to move. Nick's picture has just disappeared completely, and I don't know where it went. Oh, geez. I'll tell you what, we're going to come back to that. Nick, your Gearbox picture was good, and I will, if we don't get back to it for any reason, I will get in touch with you and explain to you exactly what I thought, if you're interested. And we're getting ready to lose another picture off the side here. Okay. All right. This is from Mike Olson. This is Family Jewels. And this is the other side of that argument, that if you're going to put a clock or a watch in a mechanism competition, make it something really interesting. And this is that something really interesting. This is a beautiful and interesting mechanism that is fantastically photographed. I love the capture of this lovely swirly pattern on the engraving of this gear, as well as the jewels. Not overly punchy, not overly bright, but getting the color in the brass like this. Very, very nice. I love the clarity in the depth of the piece, the clear watch spring. It's everything about this is appealing and engaging, and you're looking at it and saying, well, you can even see a broken tooth here on the thing. You can look at this and say, well, this is cutting the edge of the thing out just like the previous watch did. Well, it's not really. It's got all of the typing, and it feels like there's room in this picture where there wasn't in the other. It's just, I think it's a better composition. I like the perspective of the tilt on it. Lovely picture, lovely watch, cleverly photographed, very pleasing. And there are just a couple more honorable mentions. The next one, I've lost my little pointer. The next one is from Zeno. This is Spin City. Oh, tell me you're not going to do that again. You know what the problem is? It's the tall pictures that I can't get to come across. I'm going to actually try moving my screen closer to see if that would actually make a difference. Nope. We're getting ready to lose Zeno's picture too. I just found Nick's though. Let's get that back over there. Okay, so the pictures that are falling off my computer and ending up hovering in air are causing me fits. So this is Nick's picture. It looks like a single focus shot of the mechanism in a cassette player or something similar. I like it. It's clean. There are some out of focus areas that are a little bit bothersome when you're trying to show the whole mechanism. Maybe a different angle could have left some of this out of focus area out. But basically, it's not a very interesting image in that. There are it's not really talking to me. It's not telling me anything intriguing that I wouldn't already know by opening a box like this up in the past. That didn't make any sense. It's lacking. It's lacking pop. It's a bit flat. On the other hand, if I can get Zeno's Spin City to jump over the gap this time, there we are. This is a very interesting photograph. I believe that this is an old-fashioned floppy disk drive or something like that. These are drive readers, possibly. It looks like there's a disk in here that's out of focus that's whizzing by. It's interesting and intriguing. It's a little bit jumbled. I love the colors and the way they bleed into one another, but yeah, it's a little confusing and a little hard to appreciate exactly what I'm looking at. But all in all, it's an interesting picture. It certainly caught my attention. All right, we are going to move on to the last two honorable mentions, last three. This is a great shot, also from Miss Hjort, I believe it is pronounced. There we go. All right, good. This is another motor shot, gear shot. This is actually the gear mechanism in a servo motor, in one of those little hobby servo motors where if you crack the top off, this is what the gears look like. And I think the choice of subject was brilliant. I think the picture, though, could have been a bit more successful with pulling back just a little bit to give the context to the gears. I know that might not have worked, but it feels like it wouldn't have been too hard to include the rest of this gear and the rest of this gear on the left. They do feel a bit crowded like this, and the gear in the back is lost in shadow, which is okay. I mean, from an artistic standpoint. And the same thing I said about the other one. There's a lot of grease and dirt on here, which may be part of the story you're telling. I recognize that. It's just not. It's not quite grabbing me with. While there is nothing technically wrong with it. There is a very little bit of haze around the upright. Presumably this was stacked at this magnification, but yeah, otherwise technically a good photograph, just compositionally and from a storytelling angle a little bit flat. Maybe a bit of context would have helped. All right, two more. There seems to be a lot of motors, which is not surprising. This is a nice one. This is from, I think, Mr. Dassinger, or it might be Dassinger. I apologize. But if you're wondering why I don't know all the details of your names and the titles of the pictures and everything, it's because of the fact that they're on another file that I can't see because of the computer situation. But this is Blue Winding. It's the mechanism on the inside of a DC motor again, like we've seen before. This is lovely because of the colors. The choice of background is really nice, as is the complementary blue wire. It's a very appealing picture, and I love the fact that you went to a fair amount of trouble to clean the subject up and get it ready to photograph. Lots of nice detail in it. Very good picture, very good honorable mention. Another day that might well have been in the top 10. The last honorable mention, the gears on the watch go round and round. So says Julie Botts. And yep, nope, we won't be getting to see that one. Let me try that again. All right, I am going to have to do something different next time. Now, this competition was going to be judged live by me and a friend of mine who had agreed to do it and wasn't able to at the last minute. So this hopefully, oh, my goodness, This hopefully won't be something where you have to suffer with again, me trying to do this unprepared, unproperly prepared. This is a clever photograph, and most of it is beautifully, well, it's all beautifully shot. I just was not connecting with the electric green dial. Much though I loved the mechanism, the dial was a little off-putting. Don't ask me why. It looked glued on, and it may well have been glued on. I don't know, but it looked like it was jarring. That's the best word for it. But you got in the honorable mentions because you did such a good job of photographing the mechanism itself, which is beautiful. I love the strange shapes. This is some kind of grandfather clock, I'm guessing. All right, we're into the top 10, and we are going to start with number 10, and it is Jesus Sanchez with the other biological clock or watch. The first one was the one with the plant growing out of the middle of the clock, and this, while it's the same idea, is absolutely lovely. I think this is a very successful picture. The drops of moisture on the watch are a great story. I don't know what the story is, but it makes you want to know more about it. How did the the moisture get into this thing, and what's the plant doing? It conjures up all kinds of ideas, and the color management is perfect. I love the kind of brass, not brass. What's that reddish looking metal that looks like that? Anyway, doesn't matter. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the way you picked up the colors in this fern, or what is that? Not a fern, a whatever, kind of tendril of the plant, really accents, and I don't know what that was. Yeah, it picks up the colors of the gears and the watch mechanism beautifully. Makes me kind of think it's got a kind of post-apocalyptic feel to it, but definitely rich in story, lovely color, subdued, perfect focus, great shot. I really loved it. I love the way the water in between the tendrils is acting like a lens to skew the image underneath. That's absolutely fantastic. Lovely picture, Mr. Sanchez. Mike Olson, who also had a watch a little bit earlier on to show us, has a pocket watch here that made it to place number 9, and you're going to love this. Remember what I said, you're going to turn in a watch in a mechanism competition. It better be something memorable. This is something memorable. Again, it's a tiny bit low key, but I'm willing to accept that because there's no detail that's lost. I'm willing to work a bit harder to look at it, but this is lovely, and it's a beautiful watch, and every part of it is interesting to look at. I don't know anything about watches, but it is very exciting to see this amount of detail, and that this is sharp from front to back. There's not a bit of artifact in it. It's just a well photographed watch. You could argue that a little bit more brightness in the shadows might have picked it up just a little bit, and maybe that's why it didn't make it up to number 3 or something. But yeah, if you're going to photograph a clock or a watch, make it memorable, and this was memorable. Lovely shot. Well done, Mike. Here's one that I really enjoyed. This is from Wilf Meyer, and oh dear, it is an absolutely brilliant shot of an auger drill, and it's just very unexpected. I looked at this and I couldn't tell if I was looking at a SpaceX rocket or a then it finally dawned on me it was a drill. I had no idea these drills had flat edges like this on them. It's just, there was so much to look at. The texture in the bar stock, the edges milled into the blades here. I just couldn't stop looking at it. That's what an auger drill looks like. The beauty of macro photography is the ability for it to tell us things we didn't know or show us things we couldn't see. And that's exactly what this it has done. It's completely changed the way I look at auger drills. So yeah, beautiful, beautifully lit, beautifully composed. Nice shot. Well done, Will. Amy Furman comes in at number 7. Now, this was one of the ones that I kind of, oh dear, it's a tall picture too, so I may not be able to get it to come over. Let me try. Oh dear. Yes, thank goodness. So this is Amy's picture. It didn't have a title, or if it did, it didn't get copied over onto my notes. But it's a lovely abstract shot of a dial on something. You know, it looks like the dial on a Novaflex focus rail, doesn't it? In fact, it might be that, now as I look at it more closely. Anyway, either way, it's a lovely shot. It's doing exactly what I think she wanted it to do, and is focusing our attention on the markings and the mysterious juxtaposition of colors without giving us a whole lot of context about what it is. And that is appealing to me. I think when you do it well, you can really capture somebody's imagination. I love this picture. I was pushing it with mechanism, but now if that is what I think it is, then this is the mechanism, because this is the bit that you twist. So yeah, Amy, you need to tell me if that's what I'm looking at, but I have a feeling it is. I looked at it for half an hour today, and that didn't click. But yeah, let me know if I've got that right. I love the picture. I love the abstract nature of it. The choice of placing it in a tall portrait frame with the diagonal curves is very good choice. It really kind of draws your attention up the image to the red blob. And it's full of intrigue. I love it. Yeah, I think it's a classy picture. At number 7, Ingolf Kuntz makes it to number 6 with a really striking image. This is, I can't remember what the title was, a hard-working team, and it's lost in the gap. There we go. A hard-working team. It looks to me like it's a bicycle chain, which would not be surprising given the fact that Ingolf rides bicycles up and down mountains. But this is, well, not a bicycle chain. It's bicycle gears with a chain on it. Yeah, that's what I think we're looking at. This is lovely. The way that the contrast between the bright areas that are the little more worn by the gears and the grimy inside of the wheels. This is exactly what a gear spindle looks like in my mind when I'm thinking about a mountain bike. Look at this cool, I didn't mean to do that. Look at this cool area where the metal's been worn, presumably by the way the chain rubs against the gears. But it's just, you talk about a story. This is got hundreds of miles of stories in it, and it's very well shot. Even the darkest parts are not lost to detail. You can see down inside these gears, except where it's just solid gunk from the lubrication. Anyway, lovely shot, perfectly executed, very interesting, held my attention. That was at number 6. At number 5, George Simpkins with another tall photograph, which means I might not be able to get it to jump over the gap. This is absolutely giving me a stomach ulcer trying to do this tonight. I am absolutely at my wit's end with it. All right, so clearly a mechanism. It looks like some kind of like a cassette player or a VCR. Yeah, maybe more like a VCR. We'll have to get George to tell us what it is. And let me see if I can stretch it out a bit. What I loved about this was you decided to make this symmetrical and organized. It's completely upright. The planes are all parallel. It's lovely. The colors and the light all work together. It's just visually appealing. It's absolutely clean and spotless, so you can actually see what you're looking at. And yeah, it's intriguing. I don't know what it is, other than something like a tape deck, but it could be anything, and it could be it has a kind of what do you call it, steampunk look to it. But I love it. It's very appealing, and you can create a story around that too. Very, very nice. Lovely use of color. Number 3. At number 4. Now, you guys who are watching probably know what I haven't talked about yet, so you probably already know what's coming up. But number 4, from Harold Hall, a very interesting and no, you can't see it because I can't get it to come over there. There we go. This looks to me like it's an electric shaver, like the blade of an electric shaver. And as all good macro photographs do, this is telling me something I didn't know before. I had no idea that these things had spinny blades on the inside that ran over this grill. This is from the underside, I'm taking it. But it's fascinating. Lots of detail, beautiful, clever background that really makes the metallic surface stand out. Texture's lovely, focus is perfect, no artifact to speak of, yet I do believe this was stacked. And I love the shadows and light playing on these blades. They make them look really vicious. And yeah, and it was exciting to learn something new about it. So great photograph, very interesting, well done, Harold. Number 3, any guesses which one's going to make number 3? It's this one. This is from Dan Stanifer. You can't see it because it's now lost between the screens. Let's try again. Here we go. From Dan Stanifer. This is the greater than the whole. Presumably the parts he's talking about. It's some kind of a camera. I'm guessing it's a security camera or something like that. There's a lens and the parts, the motors, a planetary gear and a sensor. So I'm guessing that's what it is. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the balance of color and interest in this just sucked me in. This was a masterful touch, putting the other motor on the other side of the lens to give this porthole appearance. Very clever, very well done, beautifully balanced, and you nailed the background. The perfect foil to this orange printed circuit board. Just lovely, a lovely picture, well thought out, well executed, and delightful to look at. Certainly a very worthy third place. Well done, Dan. Which means at number 2, this is something that happens at least once a year, is when Graham Carey submits a photograph that just changes the way you look at something you've known all your life. It was a ballpoint pen at one point. This is a pencil sharpener. It's one of those old pencil sharpeners that you stick the pencil in and crank the handle. And he has shot this thing right up close, and I just love this. The detail in the grabbers that hold the pencil, and the little scraps of, these are telling stories from, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years. Each little colored piece of wood that's been scraped off the pencil is lovely. I love the grime and the corrosion and the mystery of what's inside there, other than a lot more of this pencil chewings. Graham, you have the most amazing ability to see ordinary stuff and just pull the extraordinary out of it, which is shared by the person who won the competition this month. As those of you who are card counters will know, the only person I haven't talked about was Patrick Stale, with just the most gorgeous picture I have seen. Hang on, gosh darn it. Just be patient. I'm going to throw this computer across this basement right after the right after this competition is done. I don't know what I just did then. All right, hang on just a second, guys. Give me one more chance to get the winning picture. Oh, jeez. There. My goodness. I'm absolutely going to need to be on nerve pills after this. This is the winning picture from Patrick Stale. One last time. This is so clever and so well done. If you are not seeing the beauty in this, view it with the lights turned down in your room, because this is a bladed aperture from something, probably a camera, I'm guessing an older camera. You can see the channels that hold the pins that the blades are attached to. But what made this picture was this. Oh, I don't mean to keep dragging dots all over these pictures. It was this rim of light and the barely perceptible shaft of light that's coming through to illuminate the edge of the aperture over here. It is just such a beautiful, subtle and gentle picture that really captures the essence of an aperture, and with the light coming through, it's so well conceived and such a clever idea for a mechanism. I would never have thought. I may have photographed one of these out of interest, but setting it up like this so that the light was the real hero in this photograph is just it deserves to win. It really does. This is a first-class picture. Once again, it's a picture that I would put on my wall because it is so intriguing and it's such a conversation piece. Well done, Patrick. I mean, well done, everybody. This was a wonderful competition. I love judging these mechanism competitions more than just about any other. I'm going to leave the winning picture up on my screen, which means I won't be able to read your comments, which is probably a good thing after this abomination. I do apologize for all of the technical stuff, guys. I had no idea I was going to run into this kind of a problem. And if I'd given it a bit more time ahead of time, maybe I could have forestalled it. But anyway, congratulations to Patrick. I hope he does get to see this video. But also congratulations to Graham and Dan and to everybody who entered. There were, again, fantastic photographs. You are some awesome photographers. I'm sorry I couldn't do your work justice this evening by smoothly presenting them all, but yeah, I may actually not release this as a video because that's I don't think that's doing you any favors, guys, showing your pictures like that. Anyway, yeah, fantastic texture. I think everybody agrees that that this is a good picture and cleverly done. And I am going to go back and read through. Was I right about Novaflex? And Amy says it's called. Hang on, I've got to move another thing around here. Amy says it's called Stepping into 2025. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. I will make a commitment here and now with half a minute to go that the next competition we will do a proper video with none of this malarkey of trying to wing things at the last minute. But yeah, fantastic photographs. I'm really happy with the order at the end of the day, though it took a lot of time to sort through these and make my mind up. But this will be the last month this year that we only have one judge, and that was just the way it shook out this time. Tomorrow you can expect to see the review of the AK diffuser, and also a very enjoyable interview with Mr. Pena. I recommend that you watch that because the guy is a class act, and I think you will enjoy listening to him describe his business and his experience with this diffuser. It is 9 o'clock at night. I am going to call it and go flagellate myself for tonight's mess, and I will see you tomorrow in the video if you watch it. Other than that, it'll be on Thursday in the live stream when we're talking about high resolution photography with high NA microscope objectives. Get your sleep the night before. That one's going to be heavy. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. Congratulations, everybody who won or nearly won or entered or had their picture shown, which is everybody. And I will see you again on Thursday.